If you would have been following my other videos, till now you would have understood what are the advantages of investing in mutual fund. In this video, I am going to cover how you can select the best mutual fund. Friends, the motive of creating this video is to make you guys self-reliant and independent, where without depending on anyone, you can go ahead and select the best mutual fund for you. Without delaying further, let's get started. So I will go step by step so that a normal person can also pick a right mutual fund for themselves. So the first step is to identify the mutual fund category. Whether you want to invest in equity mutual fund, debt mutual fund, or a mix of equity and debt. For that, you need to shortlist the mutual fund category. To shortlist that, first you need to know your financial goal. So what is financial goal? So financial goal is a rough estimate of money you require to achieve a goal or target in a certain period of time. Some examples of financial goals could be a corpus of 5 lakh rupees in next 4 to 5 years, a corpus of 5 crore rupees in 20 years for your retirement, a corpus of 50 lakh rupees in next 8 to 10 years to buy a home, or a corpus of 2 lakh rupees for emergency. So try to figure out your financial goal. It need not to be an exact goal, but you should know why you are investing your money. The next step is to categorize your financial goals into 3 categories: short-term goal, mid-term goal, and long-term goal. A goal between 0 to 3 years can be considered as short-term goal. A goal between 3 to 5 years can be considered as mid-term goal. And a goal more than 5 years are examples of long-term goal. Emergency fund, which is required at any point of time, can be considered as short-term goal. Purchase of a car in 3 to 4 years can be considered as mid-term goal. Purchase of a home in 7 to 8 years or funding money for your retirement in next 10 to 15 years are examples of long-term goal. Once you know your financial goal and you categorize them into short-term, mid-term and long-term goal, you should know your risk appetite. What is risk appetite? Risk appetite is the amount of risk you can take with your investment. Here, risk simply means the amount of volatility you can take with your portfolio. For example, a person with fixed income who needs to invest for long term can take higher risk. However, a person with irregular income who might need money at any point of time cannot take that much risk. A person with long-term investment of around 10 to 15 years for the retirement has a high risk appetite. However, a person who does short-term investment for emergency fund cannot take that much risk. Friends, before going further, I request you to subscribe to the channel. That motivates me a lot. So once you finalize your financial goal and risk appetite, you can select the mutual fund category. If you have a short-term goal of creating an emergency fund, then you don't want to take that much risk. In that case, you should shortlist a debt mutual fund category. If you have a mid and long-term goals, then you can select a mix of equity and debt mutual fund category. And if you are a young person who has just started working and want to create wealth in next 10 to 15 years, then you should select a equity mutual fund category. To summarize, if you have a short-term goal of less than 3 years, then you should select debt mutual fund. If you have a mid-term goal, then you should go with a mix of debt and equity mutual fund. And if you have a long-term goal, then you should select equity mutual fund. If you want to invest for long-term but doesn't want to take that much risk with your portfolio, then you should select or invest in a mix of debt and equity mutual fund. You can either create your own portfolio by selecting various mutual funds from equity and debt, or you can opt for hybrid mutual fund, which is a mix of equity and debt. Now this is very important. Once you have identified the financial goal and risk appetite, and you have also shortlisted whether you want to invest in equity mutual fund or debt mutual fund or a mix of equity and debt. Now here you have to shortlist the subcategory within each category. Factors based on which you have to shortlist is: first is risk appetite. Within equity, large cap fund is less volatile as compared to small cap fund. Within debt, liquid fund is less volatile as compared to credit risk fund. So you need to figure out how much risk you want to take. So the next one is return expectation. So here every subcategory has difference in return. For example, flexi cap has higher return expectation as compared to large cap fund, but flexi cap fund comes with higher risk or higher volatility as compared to large cap fund. And the third one is macro environment. For example, if the economy is growing and the market is rising, in that case, mid cap and small cap will rise even more. In that case, it makes sense to invest in mid cap and small cap. But what if the economy is falling and the market is not doing well? In such case, the small cap and mid cap will fall even more because they are more volatile. During those times, you have to invest in large cap or debt funds. So when the market is overvalued, it is better to invest in debt funds, and when the market is undervalued, you should invest in equity funds. So you should rebalance your portfolio according to the market environment. So once you shortlist the subcategory within each category, now the step 3 is to select the mutual fund within each category. So what are the various criteria to shortlist mutual fund within each category? The first one is fund performance with benchmark. You have to check whether the mutual fund is able to beat the benchmark consistently over the period of 1 year, 2 year, 3 year or 5 year. What is benchmark? Benchmark is the criteria to compare the performance. For example, if a mutual fund is giving 20% return in 1 year, you might think that the mutual fund is doing good. But what if the benchmark has given 30% return? Then the mutual fund has given 10% less return than the benchmark. In the second example, if the mutual fund has given minus 5% return, you might think that the mutual fund has done badly. But what if the benchmark has given minus 10% return? In that case, the mutual fund has done good as compared to the benchmark. Please note that you should compare mutual fund across a period of 1 year, 2 year, 3 year and 5 year. Also ensure you should compare the mutual fund with right benchmark. For example, in a large cap mutual fund, you should compare the benchmark with Nifty 100. In mid cap, you should compare with Nifty mid cap 150. In multi cap or flexi cap, you should compare with Nifty 500. And for small cap, you should compare with Nifty small cap 250. The second criteria is to check the fund performance against the category average. So here we have to check how the mutual fund has performed as compared to the mutual fund in that same category over the period of time. Here if you see Parag Parikh Flexi Cap Fund against its category average, in 1 year it is 17 out of 29, in 2 year it is 6 out of 26, in 3 year it is 2 out of 25, and in 5 year it is 2 out of 22. So you can see that in 5 years how we can mainly made out what is the category average. The third one is to check the asset under management size or AUM size. So high AUM suggests investors' confidence in the fund, but all the time it is not correct. For example, HDFC Bank has a market cap of 7 trillion. So if a fund manager needs 1% allocation in HDFC Bank, he would need 700 crore. So high AUM is not a problem in large cap fund. But in small cap and mid cap, huge AUM could be a problem, because here the fund manager has no option to deploy extra cash because of the unavailability of good companies. Because of that reason, it may impact the fund performance of small cap and mid cap fund. The fourth one is to check the expense ratio. Ideally, funds should have low expense ratio as compared to the benchmark. About expense ratio, I have created a detailed video. If you haven't watched that, the link is in the I button and the description box. You can watch that. The last one is standard deviation. I don't want to talk much about standard deviation as it is a very complicated subject, and if I talk about it, the video will become very big. However, I will cover about it in another video for sure. To summarize, in step 1, identify the mutual fund category. For that, you need to know your financial goal and categorize it into 3 categories: short-term goal, mid-term goal and long-term goal. You should also know your risk appetite. In step 2, select the mutual fund category like equity mutual fund, debt mutual fund or a mix of equity and debt mutual fund. In step 3, you have to shortlist the subcategory within each category. The various factors based on which we have to shortlist is risk appetite, return expectation and macro environment. In step 4, select the mutual fund within each subcategory. Various criteria to shortlist are fund performance versus benchmark, fund performance versus category average, AUM size, and expense ratio. With this, we have come to the end of this video. I hope this video will help you to select the best mutual fund for yourself. Also, if you have liked this video, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.